Oh, fish on, guys. Doesn't feel like a halibut, but yeah, it's a good fish. How's it going, guys? So today I'm going to show you how to modify your Lucky Craft Flash Minnow 110 using Storm Suspenstrips. The Lucky Craft Flash Minnow 110 weighs 5/8 ounce or 16.7 grams. And after we weigh these things down with the Storm Suspenstrips, it's going to shift the weight from 16.7 grams to 20 grams. So why go for this modification on your Lucky Craft 110? Simply put, it's gonna help you catch more fish. Now, using Storm Suspenstrips to weight rip baits or jerk baits is nothing new for bass fishermen, but it's not something that I've seen done with the Flash Minnow 110. Why this modification can be a deadly tool in your arsenal is that without it weighted, it's a suspending lure and it's gonna be at the top of the water column. If you're fishing deeper water, you're gonna be relying on the fish being extra aggressive that day to come up all the way from the bottom to bite the Lucky Craft. We're gonna be using the size 4 replacement treble hook. Now what that's gonna do is this size 4 ST41 is a little bit heavier than the stock hooks. It's gonna cause the Lucky Craft to be nose down. With this modification, the action is not affected, it does not roll. What that's gonna allow you to do is it's gonna allow you to bump into rocks and structure with the lip of the Lucky Craft as opposed to it swimming like this where you're much more likely to get snagged. And it's gonna allow you to work this thing through the sand, off of rocks, into structure, or swim it right above the sand, thus optimizing your opportunity to get strikes. You just have a lot more control using this modification, and it is an option that I feel like every Lucky Craft user should have or should consider having in their arsenal. The only drawback to weighting your Lucky Craft is it's not going to be a floating suspending lure anymore. And while there are other Lucky Crafts that can sink down to the bottom like the 115, this can be an effective modification for the 110 because the wobble on this 110 is just super tight, whereas the 115 has a much wider action on it. This has a very, very tantalizing tight wobble to it and can be very, very deadly if you can get it closer down to the strike zone. By putting these suspend strips on the bottom of the Lucky Craft, right off the bat, it's gonna increase your casting distance. And with these guys, especially when it's a little bit windy or the conditions aren't that great, casting can be a challenge. So this is actually a very simple and easy to do mod. I gotta thank my friend William for showing me and teaching me all this. William is a quiet superstar, silent superstar. He is one of the most knowledgeable fishermen that I've had the privilege of meeting. And I'm just trying to learn as much as possible from him. So thank you, William, for showing me this so that I can pass it along to you guys. This is a modification that works. It catches fish. I'm gonna show you exactly how to do it. Thanks so much for tuning in, guys. Let's go. Alrighty, so we're gonna jump right in, and all we need to do to modify the Lucky Craft Flash Minnow 110 is gonna be the Storm Suspend strips, not the dots, but the strips. ST41 size 4, the Stinger trebles, a pair of split ring pliers, a regular standard Lucky Craft, and a digital scale that can measure in the grams. So just for demonstration purposes, we'll go ahead and show you the weight differential between a weighted and an unweighted Lucky Craft. An unweighted LC 110 weighs 5/8 ounce or 16.7 grams. And you can see this drills down to about 16. It's in reality 16.7. And we'll go ahead and weigh this with an already weighted Lucky Craft. You see the 3 suspend strips, and that should move it from 16.7 to 20. All right, so now all we gotta do is get a Lucky Craft that we want to go ahead and mod and weight. This is a Cherry Berry 110, and I'm actually, in hindsight, I already weighted one, and in hindsight I wouldn't have done that just because I think part of the allure of the Cherry Berry is the pink bottom, and this kind of hides it. So we're just gonna kind of choose one of the ones that I haven't opened yet just for the fun of it. And I do want that pearl color one. I'm kind of hesitating. This is the Green Glow, and this would be a good one, but I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go with more of a bait fish pattern, just a standard bait fish pattern. I think we'll go ahead and go with this one. This is the Salty Aurora Black in the 110. So we'll go ahead and weight one of these. I got like 3 of these guys. So we'll go ahead and take the package out. And so this is just a standard Lucky Craft 110. And what we'll go ahead and do, the first thing we need to do is we need to remove the center belly hook. So So we'll go ahead and take the split ring off. Go ahead and grab your split ring pliers. And we'll just go ahead and put this. This is a brand new stock hook, and we can just go ahead and put that off to the side and save it. And so step one is done, removing the center hook. After that, we're gonna go ahead and replace this first hook, and we're gonna go ahead and replace that with the ST41 size 4 treble hook. Now that size 4 hook is heavier than the stock hook. And there's a reason for that, because when we replace it, it's gonna allow and cause the Lucky Craft, after it's weighted, to dip slightly forward. I'm gonna go ahead and remove that. So we've got taken the hook off, and then we'll go ahead and take the split ring off, and we'll go ahead and reuse the split ring, but attach an ST41 size 4. Like so. So we got another extra stock hook, brand spanking new, and when these are right out of the box, they're super sticky, super sharp. People have a lot of complaints about the stock hooks bending out, but I think if you have your drag set right, it can help out quite a bit. But at this point, we're gonna go ahead and pull out the ST41 size 4 stinger treble from owner. And again, these hooks are super sticky, so proceed with caution. Otherwise you're gonna get an owie and gonna have to, you know, run to mommy and get a Band-Aid. All right, so that's next step done. We've removed the center hook and ring and replaced the front hook with an ST41 size 4. Now at this point, we're ready to go ahead and start putting the strips. So these are the Storm Suspenstrips. And again, I'll have these in the link below. If you want to pick some of those up through that link, you can. I already have one open because I've already done a couple. And you're going to need a total of 9 strips. And the recipe that we're going to be using is a 3-4-2. So it's going to be 3 in the front, 4 in the middle, and 2 in the back. And there's a method to this madness. So you want to follow this as close to exact as possible. And we're going to start by placing 2 strips side by side with the strips touching the front eye. So touching right here, the eyelet right there, we want to put 2 side by side all the way up to the bill. And it's going to slide up a little bit, and we just want to have it in the middle, as close to middle as possible. And if it's not perfect the first time, that's okay. You can kind of go back and, you know, you can kind of slide it into place. Now these strips, they're basically like little stickers. So you can just kind of peel them off. Kind of like I mentioned as what you probably need to do, unless you just have exact placement, is kind of slide it as close to centered as possible. And now what we're going to do is we're going to grab one more strip and we're going to place it right along the middle. So that's going to be the 3rd strip. And these strips are, you know, it's just like a strip of tape, except has some weight on it. So they're very flexible, very malleable. All right, so that's the first part. Yeah, this is really easy to do, guys. It's not hard at all. Now what we're going to do is we're going to put 2 more strips in the middle. And we'll go ahead and move the split ring over, and it's going to be touching the middle eyelet again. So we're going to put 2 strips right there, side by side. Got the first one on there. We'll go ahead and lay down the second one. And again, just trying to be as accurate as possible and keeping it as centered as possible. I think there is some room for error on these, but you know, obviously if you make kind of a big mistake or you place these guys down in a way that kind of affects the weight in a significant way, then the action on this thing, it's possible that on the retrieve it's going to cause it to roll and not have that proper action. And so doing it this way, and again, this has been tested for hours and hours by my friend William. When done correctly, the lure will continue to swim properly and it will not roll. So that's why there's a method to this madness. So again, the formula that we're following here is 3, 4, 2. So we're going to put 2 more right on top of each other. And similar to the first part, lay it on there as close as you can, and then you can adjust it by applying pressure to the strip to get it right on top and nice and even. That's 3. Grab one more. All right, so 3, 4, now 2. So now we're going to place 2 strips side by side on the back, and we want it to touch the center eyelet. And again, just adjusting and making sure they're lined up. All right, so that's about it. So now we have a weighted Lucky Craft. We're going to leave this hook off. And again, we've replaced this front hook with the ST41 size 4. And now it's weighted to 20 grams and it's balanced in a way that's going to allow this thing to swim optimally. So we'll go ahead and check. And again, we'll use this regular Lucky Craft 110 unweighted as a control. We can see our control Lucky Craft is at 16 grams. In reality, it's 16.7, 5/8 ounce. And we can see that the modified Lucky Craft is now at 20 grams. So yeah, modifying the Lucky Craft 110, I believe it's something that every fisherman should have in their toolbox. It's really easy to do. You don't need a lot of stuff. And I'll go ahead and provide links on the bottom. If you need some of this stuff, you can go ahead and click on that link if you want. But super easy to do. Now all we need to do is take this out in the water and see if we can catch a fish with it. So let's go. All right, we're moving to the cherry berry and weighted this one down. This is a super glow cherry berry, so this is glow in the dark. Oh, fish on, guys. Got picked up by something. Oh yeah. Doesn't feel like a halibut, but yeah, it's a good fish. Oh, he hit me on the jerk. Got a little bit of run on him. Let's see what he is. Almost feels foul hooked, to be honest with you, but yeah, foul hooked. No, fair hooked. It's a bass. Looks like a spotty. Nice size. Sand bass or spotty? I'm not sure. Might be illegal. Oh, my line got twisted up there, but good size sand bass. I'm guessing illegal. We'll give him a measure just so we can see. So yeah, you can see the LC, the weighted LC. That was about to be my last cast at this spot, but I guess we'll stick around here for a little bit longer since there are fish holding. Yeah, you can see it's over 14, solid 14 though. Measured at about 14 and a half. So stoked to get that bite. Nice little fight. All right, buddy. There he goes. All right, guys, so just finished up a session and trying out the weighted Lucky Craft 110. And happy to say that it produced. I was able to get a legal sand bass landed, and it was really cool fishing this thing. It's definitely a different experience. Different ways to fish it, different techniques. Advantages. A huge advantage obviously is just the casting distance and just the ability to get down to the bottom, and from there it's just kind of figuring out what's going to trigger the strike, but just able to keep the lure just that much closer to the fish strike zone, so it's a huge benefit. But hopefully the tutorial was helpful for you. Hope you can check it out and just show that, hey, there is merit to it. It does work. So thanks so much for tuning in, guys. Tight lines.